We're back. The Kasi Podcast, live in effect. We have two special guests with me, Yusuf Muhammad. How are we? You guys good?
Blessed,
Good,
man.
Good,
Thank
Thank
you
you for coming down, man. How long ago did Dad talk to you about getting on the podcast, Yusuf?
A couple of weeks ago, man.
Was it a couple weeks ago? I spoke to you about a time ago.
It's longer than a couple of weeks ago.
Remember when I bumped into you, innit? I bumped into you and you were like, yeah, I'm doing a podcast and all
No,
of
we're
that.
back though. Thank you guys for coming down. How we doing? How we good?
Not too
good,
bad,
man.
man.
Let's catch up for a bit because this year has been a bit wild.
It's been a crazy year.
We look like we're getting to another one, but how was you guys? I always like to ask other people how their lockdown was because I always like to see how different it is compared to mine.
Yeah. So I was stuck in the house with the family. So I got like 4 siblings. And the youngest is 5. So it was crazy. It was like a kindergarten at home. Actually crazy. And then on top of that, I had online exams.
Yeah,
Because obviously
I did
uni
too.
closed. And that was not good.
I'm gonna lie, our exams
That
were
was
probably
not good.
different. I did I'm not saying that, but yeah, our exams were
Yeah.
kind of different. But I won't complain about the last couple of exams I had.
It
I
was
won't
not good
complain.
because you know how when you go to uni, right, you're in the frame of mind to learn.
Even when I see this like lockdown going on, I'm like we don't go to uni, like because I'm on sports course, so we have to do some practicals. Most of the time we don't go to uni. It's like it's online, and I'm like, it's not the same. Like one of the online lectures, I'm not gonna lie, I slept through them. Like,
Mad.
it was bad early.
I'm guilty.
It was bad early. I got up. I was in my bed. You're in your bed. You're not in the. You're not. Your mind's not in the frame. Your mind's still like, alright, cool. When you gonna go back to bed? And I don't like the woman anyway, so I slept through it. And then I slept through my next one that I was actually supposed to pay attention to. So
Mad.
that was a bit of an error. Yeah, but I'm the same. I like to be in there, in the lecture room. Like it's
In the
just,
zone, yeah.
it's just a different feeling. It's just a different vibe. What about you?
It was opposite, man. I'm the youngest, innit? So it's just peace and quiet. But honestly, like, it was so just boring. Like, I had, it was good at start because like I could do whatever I wanted. And I was really busy leading up to the lockdown. So I had so much free time. So I was like enjoying it. And then it got to a point where it was too much free time. And
That's the worst.
it's like when you're looking for things to occupy your time and it's just like, you'll watch anything on YouTube, you'll just do anything. And it was like, it was so boring. And yeah, for me, it was just the opposite, man. It was quiet, boring. I just wanted to go out.
I don't know. I don't think it's the same for everyone else, but I'm not even that angry at the thought of another lockdown.
So
I'm not
that
trying to
angry,
do
I'm
that,
not gonna
man.
lie.
I'm not
Really?
trying to do that.
No, but I want to be able to do what I want to do.
That ain't gonna
That's
that ain't
what
no
I'm
lockdown.
I don't care about the lockdown, but I still want to go work and coach kids.
No,
I
that's
still
not
wanna-
lockdown, bro.
I still want to go play football. So I don't want to lockdown like it was before. But I'm not that mad at the thought of like.
Nah, man. I
Another
want
lockdown.
to be out there, man. It's just I can't stick in the house for too long. It's just you
Nah,
can't
when
you
you
can't
act-
live your life from inside the house. It's just
Nah, at first you enjoy it, but then after a while you have too much.
it becomes
time.
too much, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
it
then
becomes too much.
you don't understand what you forget like your whole schedule just
it messes up.
And
The,
you're like,
the
yeah.
days just roll into one another. It's weird.
Honestly, yeah, at some point, yeah,
the
like,
sleep
you
cycle.
forget
Every
to-
day was a
you forget
Saturday.
to drink water. You don't know what
Bad.
day it is.
every
like,
day was a weekend.
It's unhealthy, man.
Every day was a weekend. I don't think
What
that's
if
gonna
we-
happen. I don't think he will go in lockdown anyway.
now we just got upgraded, so I wouldn't be surprised.
What is it? The tier 3 thing?
To
Mm.
medium,
You have to be in at
high,
10 p.m.
Yeah, something.
Day 2, yeah.
I heard a thing where I know someone works in a restaurant and they told him because the rule about families, you can only be if you come to eat to a restaurant or something, it can only be people from the same household.
Right. Rule of
And,
6 and
yeah. And the guy who works in a restaurant, they told him, oh, if they're not in the same household, then they have to sit outside.
That's
And I was like,
crazy.
"Fam, we're in October.
That
like,
doesn't make
no
any
one's gonna be
sense.
sitting outside eating food. And even still, when you see people walking in, how are you gonna know that?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
You ain't gonna ask them like, do you guys live together?
yeah. You look like him.
Yeah, and anyone you're in, you'll just be like, oh, we're roommates.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they managed to enforce that rule, but
Yeah, they don't use their judgment.
It's all
man.
half measures, man. It don't really make sense.
none of it makes sense.
It's
Yeah,
half measures.
at the same time, it's the first for everyone. So it's not something they've gone through. It's not something they're prepared for.
Exactly.
But yeah, none of it makes sense.
Unprecedented, yeah.
It's like we went to Nando's. We went to Nando's the other time, and the first time we went out to eat, right? First time I went out to eat since
Yeah.
the lockdown thing.
When was this?
Just like a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks
Okay.
ago, something like that.
Was it during the eat out thing? You know, the whole
I think
eat
we
out.
just missed that.
Ooh.
I was annoyed, but
Damn.
anyway, we went in. So it's the first time I went out to eat since like the lockdown. The guy told me, "Wow, you got to scan the barcode, whatever."
Yeah,
Cool. And it was like, so just because we were outside at first, it was like just put your mask on, and then when you go to your seat, you can take your
Right.
mask off, right? So that cool, whatever. So I put a mask on. We put our mask on. We go in. We're walking through the door, right? We go and sit down where you're sitting.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "All right, cool. You can take your mask off."
Yeah. Same.
I was back at him like,
Same.
"Bro, we walked 3 steps, man. Like the coronavirus is in.
It's crazy.
It's here, but it's not
Yeah.
like on the seat." I was like, "Oh, this is
Nah,
ridiculous."
for me, like it was even closer. Like the edge of this sofa and here. Like you're right, sitting next to other people. And they're like, yeah, you can take your mask off when you sit down. It's like
I understand they're trying to follow rules and that, but it's
Yeah.
like, just think about what you're saying.
yeah,
Like,
It makes no sense. Like even on the buses, like we jumped on a bus recently. Oh my God. This situation pissed me off. We jump on the bus. There were 2 people sat.
Let him finish.
Why have you got tomatoes?
For context, we came back from shopping in it, so we had some tomato tins. But anyways, that's besides the point. We jump on the bus. There's 2 people already sat on the bus, a family, right? Yeah. And they don't have masks on. We jump on. We go. He gets off the next stop. I get off in 2 stops. So we're like, we're just gonna stand. There's no point in sitting. As soon as we're comfortable, we're posted at the back of the bus. Bus driver, please wear your mask on public transport.
Did you guys have your mask on?
Nah, we didn't. And obviously that wasn't an issue because I was like, okay, it's for our own good. Do you get me? There's no point in being difficult in this scenario. Yeah. But the fact that he decided to put on that tannoy when we hopped on the bus, and there were already people sat on the bus with no masks on, I took an issue to that.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, it's just the way that people apply the rules. There's no logic. They don't use their judgment. Do you get me?
It was funny because when this first started happening, and they released that thing about black and ethnic minority peoples are more likely to have
more risk. Yeah.
I remember when they said at the start, like black people and colored people can't get coronavirus. They said it was just for white people.
Did they say that? What?
There was a bit of that. There was a bit of that because I think COVID didn't really touch Africa.
Yeah.
The way that a lot of these people were anticipating. I remember there was that crazy scientist who was like, "Let's test the drugs."
Yeah, in Africa.
In Africa, and that had a massive uproar. But yeah, anyways.
Nah, so this is right in the middle of it, and so this was around the time they released statement, black and ethnic minority people are more likely to have coronavirus, whatever. The amount of people I saw like crossing the road when they see me, I'm like, bro, have I got coronavirus on my forehead? Like, you're good.
You might as well.
I live life anyway. People crossing the road because they're going to try holding their bag tight. I don't need coronavirus to then add on to that, fam.
That's crazy.
It's long. Just for context, we all know each other for long. We went to poly. Mm-hmm. Everyone I've had in this has gone to poly.
It's crazy.
You need to branch out, man.
I need to branch out. Now we've all been to poly. Yeah, 70, 11. What do you just tell some people what you guys do now, just briefly?
So I'll go first. I'm a medical student, so I'm in my 3rd year at King's College London. I've got 3 years left, or 3 or 4 years, depending on how I decide to approach the next year. But that's what I do.
Did you always want to?
It's a weird one because it sounds cliche saying I've always wanted to do it. Yeah. But I feel like there was definitely a moment. You know how you have those anchoring points in life, like you watch a documentary, or for a lot of people it's like a traumatic life experience. Someone's hospitalized, or they actually go to hospital. For me, I think it stemmed from my dad wanting to study medicine, like back home in Gambia.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. I mean, apparently he did. We'll never know. But because of like his socio-economic, status, he couldn't do that. And that's how it is back home. So I feel like even though that's not the prime reason, I feel like that's been at the back of my head. Subconsciously. And it's influenced my decision.
It's funny because often we think we know why we're doing what we do, but because I coach, I play football. Like football's like something I've always been doing, like since I was a kid. And when people would ask me, I'd always say, "Oh, like I've always wanted to play football. Like football is what I love."
Yeah.
But what I learned to realize, especially understanding sociology more, was that I didn't really have a choice. I didn't have a choice. Like I didn't choose to pick football. So if I
football chose you,
not football chose me.
Them ones.
But if I think back to when like my first memories of playing football, it was like primary school, and I'd just be running around kicking the ball. But it wasn't like I had 4 or 5 other sports to choose from.
Yeah.
So when it's break time, teachers like, "Alright, cool, here's the ball, go play in the cage."
Right.
If they didn't do football, if they did rugby, or if they did cricket, would I now have that same love for that sport?
That's crazy. That's mad.
That's what I'm saying. Now,
so you feel like it was the circumstances?
It was just circumstances I was in.
Right.
Now, of course, this was everyone that I was with, and not everyone still loves and plays football.
Yeah.
I still do. So I still, luckily enough, I love it that I still carried on playing it. But I always thought that I chose football. Like football was something I chose to do, but it wasn't. It was just the only thing that was there to do because of where I am and where I grew up. And this country, football is like one of the biggest sports. But if I grew up somewhere else where another sport is the biggest sport,
you never know.
I would not have played football.
You never know, innit? Yeah.
So that's when I realized, like, I started rethinking all the decisions I've made in my life. Like, did I really make that decision, or
that's crazy?
Did I not have a choice? It was just that, or do something else that is totally left.
Yeah, and not to take it to a really deep level, but I feel like in some ways the place that you grow up predetermines what you become, whether you like it or not.
It does.
You know,
it does.
It's obviously quite depressing to think that your fate could have been predetermined.
I think that's just. I think that's just the circumstances of where we're from, where we grew up, because, where we kind of places, areas we grew up in, there's not a wide variety of professions that people go in.
Yeah.
You know, you play football, or you
go into music,
or you know, how much other stuff is there that people really go into. It's refreshing that you're doing a medicine, you're doing to become a medical doctor. It's like, I don't know that many people I grew up with that are now doing that. So where we're from, it's what it is. Like, there's not that many opportunities and chances as opposed to other areas that are a bit better. But
I started in uni doing maths, but I just
give me started, bro. Don't do that to me.
I felt like a king, but I wasn't that good at it. And then I just felt like it wasn't for me in it, and I became a qualified personal trainer up until lockdown. You know, it's going really well and everything, but then just the nature of the virus, it just crashed in it, and I got into photography. Talk
to us about the training. How long are we doing now? How long have you qualified?
I've been qualified I've been doing it for a long while, but I only got qualified recently.
You know what's mad? Like,
what's up?
Like, it's an itch about this I have, and to this day I'm annoyed about it. Like, we was in the same BTEC sports class, doing the same stuff, the same courses, sitting next to each other, doing the same thing. This guy was a skinny don. No joke. Yusuf was some skinny don sitting next to me, and then let's say after school now, we didn't connect properly. And years later, he's a PT, he's wedged out here.
Man, it's crazy.
And I'm like, man, this guy really listened to that class. Like, so I'm just annoyed.
You took it all in.
That wasn't the class that got me.
Alright, fair enough.
That class was...
I'm just annoyed. Like, how did he get there, fam? Like, he's bare hedge now. He just mad weights. I was like, nah. This guy was some skinny dog sitting next to me. Do you still have pictures from when?
Mate, I got like a couple in it. Like,
couple of slips and some fat slips.
What do you think
when you're in that big blaze, you can't really tell on it.
What do you think when you see how you used to be?
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, the thing we were running around in that class, just like doing nonsense.
That whole class is funny.
No, it's crazy, man. Like, I don't know what to think. It's like you just grow so much. You grow so much over the time, and like you look at yourself, you look so different, and it's like.
Do you train people regularly? And
yeah, I was, man.
Was it what you expected, or
what do you mean?
Was it what as he was doing the qualification and
because that's the thing, I was training people already before, but then it got to a point where you can't do this further unless you have the professional qualification. The law will stop you at a certain point, innit? And so like
you can't charge people £50 an hour
when you're qualified, innit? But like while I was getting in the process of becoming qualified, I already had clients that were already lined up.
That's it.
So it was already set up for me, innit? And then I got it locked, and then I was doing so well, and then lockdown came, and it was just like.
What you do? Did you do anything like online with them? Or?
Nah, man, it's just not the same. That's the whole essence of personal training. Is having someone with you.
It's personal.
It's personal, isn't it? Like anyone you can watch a YouTube tutorial online. You can follow live workouts online, but you don't get that personal touch. And to me, after like this whole virus thing, it became void almost. Like,
do you feel like you could have done what you're doing now? Do you feel like the qualification helped you at all?
Nah.
No. So you feel like you could have been doing what you're doing now?
I knew 90% of what they already taught.
What am I missing then, fam? Because like, I've trained with PTs before.
Yeah.
Like people know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And this is not the same when I'm training on my own. Like, I leave the session thinking, yo, what am I missing? Because I feel a lot worse when I'm training with PT. Like, my body feels a lot worse.
It's just having someone to lead you through a session, and you having the assurance that that person knows what they're talking about. You always doubt yourself if you do it by yourself, if you don't know fully like what you're doing. So like when I train by myself, Like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be the same if like it was someone else just who doesn't really know it, but they just go to do their thing. So yeah, it's having someone to lead you through it, and like you just feel protected and you feel.
It's the psychology, isn't it? It's like
it is.
I understand there is a bit to it.
Yeah,
because you definitely, obviously, the like main like psychological levels, you push yourself a lot harder when you're with people.
100%.
I understand that, but it's just.
Oh, it's not to say like I just learned everything from going gym. Like I feel like I didn't learn anything from the qualification. Like I did the education part by myself, like in my own time, because it was a passion. So like, I'll be on the internet always trying to learn, and then it turned out when I was doing the qualification, I already know all of this stuff. I just have to get the piece of paper.
Yeah, of course.
To make it official.
It's the same thing with me with football coaching. Yeah. Like I immerse myself so much in football. Like that's my thing.
Yeah.
That I could coach sessions. Like I could go coach like a grown man's team.
Yeah.
But until I get that piece of paper that says I'm a FA qualified coach,
you're closed off in it.
I can't. Like I remember when I tried to get my first job, like coaching, I preferably wanted football coaching, but because I didn't have that qualification that said I was a qualified coach, no one was already, because already their what's their like expectation was level 1 FA qualified coach, and I didn't have that. So it was like some of them they declined, and some of them I didn't even bother applying to because I know they were going to tell me
you already know
you ain't got it. So the first job I did get was it wasn't football coaching, but it was coaching in general. But the same thing, because I'm so immersed in that in football, and I just know what it is. So I coached. So I was ready to do it before I'd even got the level 1. Personal training was one thing. I was like, oh, this guy's doing this thing in personal training. Like, I did get here, and then all of a sudden it's like he's doing photography now. And you're taking pictures, and I'm like, yo,
you switched up real quick, innit? Like one night's sleep.
So where did that come from? Like?
No, you know what it is? Like I got my camera like this time last year, so June last year, and the actual reason I got it was to up my personal training content, like be more sort of structured, film stuff, tutorials, all of that stuff. As I got really busy with the training, so that was like in theory, I'm going to need this when I'm busy. When I actually got busy, I didn't really use it. I didn't use it at all. And then when this lockdown came, it was like, okay, training's out the window. I have a big ass camera. What can I do with this? Like I've always been interested in cool pictures. I just never had the time to invest in it because I was so busy with the training stuff. And yeah, man, over lockdown, like I said, you have so much time to watch anything and everything. And I just watched so much photography stuff that like I just immersed into it and started investing in equipment. And then before I knew it, I was out doing shoots and stuff like that. And
now, same thing with the training. You got a whole photography thing. Like people you just do jobs. Like people just come at you.
Exactly.
How busy are you with it?
Photography is
which one's harder? Personal training or
harder?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll say photography is harder, man.
It's harder.
Yeah.
Why?
Because personal training is all about communication with the person.
Yeah.
Like you just have to be sociable.
Yeah.
You have to be confident with them. You have to be able to like communicate to them for them to do what you want. And that, to me, that's quite easy. That's just people skills.
Yeah.
Right? Because really, between personal trainers, knowledge doesn't separate. Like most people know the same stuff. It's the people skills that separates trainers.
Yeah.
But with photography, there's so many little things to consider. Like the angle, your composition. Then you have to edit. Some people are so good at editing. Some people are beginners. There's a lot of what's called, not discrimination, but like when it comes to lenses and equipment and stuff like that. Now a lot of people say, like you don't have to have the most expensive stuff, which is correct. But if you don't have access to like the basic stuff, then you might struggle. But with personal training, it's literally you and another person just communicate.
It's the same thing with football coaching. Like I know bear coaches who were fairly decent and knew what they were doing, but they just did not know how to communicate at all. Even the ones that, because sometimes I coach kids as well, they don't know how to communicate with the kids.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And that's something that luckily comes naturally to me, to communicate with kids. So when I'm coaching kids, it's just, they can be pain in the ass, but when I'm coaching them, it just comes natural to me, and I have the patience to put up with them. Because
that's the thing. When you're a trainer, people aren't looking to like have a textbook. Like you're not just meant to spew information.
It's personal.
You're just meant to make them do what they need to do and be motivating enough for them to want to do it. They're not looking for all the information, all the technical terms. They're not looking for that. They trust that you already know that. You just have to be able to make them do it, and that's all it is.
What's some of the pet peeves you have with trainers? Like some of the things that just
with trainers or training people.
With training people.
Training people, oh man, it's like
Too
That
many.
was something that just
there's so
they
many.
do something. You're like, oh,
There's so many, man.
I can't.
It's
I don't
like-
do this right now.
What's one? I'll say the main one is this is the one that bugs me the most. It's like when you got someone there and you're telling them to do something. Obviously, you're not like commanded them, but like you like push them to do something, and they don't do it because they don't want, like they don't believe in themselves or they don't want
give
to
up.
Right.
Yeah, they give up quick.
Yeah.
And it's like, from my point of view, I wouldn't make you do this if I didn't think you could do it. I'm assessing how you're moving, your body language.
Yeah.
If I'm telling you to do something, like, at least try it. Some people don't try.
Yeah.
Some people give up before they even try it. And to me, that's just like come on, man. And it translates to like other parts of their life. They'll give up before they even try.
100%.
And if you come into the gym with that mentality, you'll never achieve your goals. And it's just people that aren't willing to try. It just turns me off so much. I'm just like,
How they mention it does make sense that it's very translatable to life.
yeah.
Like if you're someone who gives up quite easily, then in life you're probably going to be someone who doesn't, who gives up quite easily.
It's like the first hiccup and they're like, oh, I can't do this. Nah, I don't want to. I'm just like, you barely tried.
It's the same with you, man. You would always hench in school.
I was not hench. I was never hench.
How did you get into gym?
So actually, he dragged me in.
So
I remember he started.
You're not PT, are you?
No.
Oh, cool.
Nah, I'm not PT.
You don't want to do that. No.
I don't have my license.
He was like carry on. You're almost like the first person.
I could be a PT, but I
don't.
don't.
You've done enough now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think he started 2 years. 2 years ahead of me.
15,
Yeah. This was during sixth form. And I told my dad I really want to go gym. Dad was like, no.
Why?
You are not going gym until you go to uni. Focus on your education.
Yeah.
Typical African mentality. As if, we can't balance, we can't multitask, but it's fine. So I was patient, I waited, uni started, and I started hitting gym. But I went, it's weird, I didn't really go with you that often. I had like my own little squad. And we'd go upstairs where all the, where all the machines are, not the proper weights downstairs. And I wasn't really seeing progress. And then I started properly working out with Yusuf, probably in Jan. Yeah. And that's when.
When? Jan?
As in January.
2018.
How many years ago now? Yeah.
No, it was way before that.
2018?
It wasn't January, it was like November.
It was in the New Year.
It was.
Okay, it was close to the New Year. Month either way.
Because I remember what was happening at that time. It wasn't
fair enough. Okay. He has a PT demeanor. He's telling me when I started. But anyways, I started training with him properly, and that's when things started, taking off. But the thing is, we used to go religiously. Like honestly, like in hindsight, I feel like it was a bit unhealthy the way we approached it. Like we would go 6 days.
7.
No rest. Sometimes 7 days.
We went 7, and then
it was not healthy.
6.
It was not sustainable.
No, it was. It was just life got busy. But we were healthy enough to do it. We were strong enough to do it.
And you were both at uni as well.
Yeah.
How did you balance going to gym seven times a week? And
you find a way, man. If it's important to you, you'll find a way. That's another thing. Hey, that's another pet peeve. Yeah. When you got a client and they're like, I don't have time. I'm like, you have time. You just don't make it a priority. It's like there's so many things we do in a day-to-day lives that aren't important, but we still do it.
We make time for them. Yeah. That's true.
As in, we waste time on a lot of idle things.
Yeah.
And then the things that are important, we don't get it done. And then we make the excuse that we ain't got time. When people tell me they don't have time, it's the most annoying thing. Because I'm like, I know you do. I know you. Everything that's important to you, you'll make time for it.
I mean, to an extent, I feel like, obviously, when I started, my timetable was a bit more full on than his. But again, I feel like...
lectures at all.
This guy didn't go in.
Yeah. Shit.
I feel like it's one of those where you have to put it in the center and then organize your life around it, and things pan out.
It's funny. I would never say to someone that I don't have time. I would just tell them I don't want to do it.
Yeah, just say you don't want to do it.
I said don't
tell me
right,
I'm too busy. I know you're lying. Just be honest. I appreciate your honesty.
But I wouldn't say I don't want to do it because I don't want to do it. I mean, with my time, what I've tried to do is I've just tried to do the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
So even if that thing is like coming home from uni or coaching or whatever, and I want to spend an hour playing FIFA, I'm gonna do that, fam. Because when I was younger, it was a thing of like every second, every minute of the day, you got to spend it putting in the grind, and I'm like, nah, man. For a second, I just want to play FIFA. Like, I just want to chill, watch, like catch up with some shows, and that's okay. Because I'm not doing that 12 hours a day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do that for a bit and then I go back to getting into what I really want to do. But sometimes people, the time that they do spend is actually wasted, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not time. It's not something that they want to do. It's because they
Yeah.
can't be bothered to get up and
Exactly.
go do something else. And
because the thing is, you can't be productive 100% of the time.
no,
Yeah,
Like
you are
productivity is focus. It's focus driven.
it's like
You've got to hone in on what you want to do.
It's like I was young, and you watch these like motivational speakers, and they'll be like, every minute wake up, go blah blah blah.
Yeah.
If you're going toilet, you're wasting time. And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. But after
Just carry a bottle around.
yeah, after
Really
after like a few months, I was like, I started thinking to myself that
You're not
like,
being as
I'm not
productive.
motivated.
Yeah.
I'm not being productive.
Right.
And then I got older, and I was like, nah, man, I just sort out your time to do what you want to do, not to waste time, but generally just what you feel like you want to do in that moment.
Yeah.
And then the things that are really important, make your own time for that.
Yeah.
And also something I've definitely noticed is that you need to set dates and times.
Oh yeah.
for things.
You have to hold yourself accountable.
Because when this is something I heard, I
100%.
forgot his name now, but I was watching someone talk and I heard him say it. They said when you don't set like a date or a time for something, even if it's something like meeting a friend, like how many times you say friends, yeah, we're gonna do this, blah 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 blah. But when you don't set a date or a time or a week or a month, and it's not in your calendar and you both not agreed,
Exactly.
it's like somewhat important. It's not so important, so you just let it go. But when you said to someone, oh yeah, Friday 6 p.m. we'll meet up, then it's like when that day comes, you've made that agreement to that person or to that thing that you're going to do and you're going to be there. So it automatically becomes a different level of importance.
Exactly.
So just know, if I'm ever meeting with any one of you and I don't set a day and time, I don't want to do it.
It's the equivalent of inshallah, innit? But what inshallah has become, unfortunately, where when you ask your parents, can I get the PS5? They're like, inshallah. You know you're never going to see the PS5 in your lifetime. But setting a date is very important at the time. It's weird, like even with small things. So you mentioned meeting your friend or whatever, but even with small things like, I don't know, a specific time to work out, a specific time to, I don't know, if you're religious, read the Bible, a specific time to talk to your parents. It's important.
Procrastinating is a real thing, man. Procrastination is a real thing.
Yeah,
There's places where I had that bad. Yo, I told someone I'm doing this work. It's 8 p.m. now. I've been in half the whole day. I ain't done the work. Procrastination is real, man.
100.
You're both Muslim?
Yeah.
Is that something you've always been from family?
Yeah. That's family. Yeah. So Gambia is actually predominantly Muslim country.
Sure.
What's that?
I think it's 90 or 95% Muslim.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah. Well, you didn't know.
Not that high.
Go away.
Not that high. Damn.
Yeah, Gambia is a predominantly Muslim country.
Do you say you're Muslim, or you're both Muslim, or do you just say you're Muslim? Because sometimes Christians, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I'm Christian, I believe in God," but
they're not. I think
that is heavy.
I think obviously the reason why sort of people tend to downplay how faithful they are is because of, how being religious is stigmatized.
Yeah.
I'll just put that out there.
Yeah.
Like, if you are a person that holds your faith very highly, you're assumed to be the guy who doesn't want to party.
Yeah.
You're assumed to be the guy who's gonna, end all the, all the fun, basically. But essentially, if you're, true to your faith and you know exactly why you're doing it, then it's between you and whoever you believe in. But yeah, it's the times we live in. It's very, very, very difficult to be faithful
tough,
practicing.
It's tough. Man.
No, it is. I remember when I was in like primary school or something, and it's like mad trauma. And,
PTSD.
Yeah, and I remember like you'll be in your class with like everyone, and someone will say to me. I remember this one time someone said to me, "Are you Christian?" And obviously, of course, because like I'm a black guy, I'm African. That's like the assumption or expectation that you're Christian. But even at such a young age, just like late primary school, maybe almost year 7, but even at such a young age, I wasn't too sure what that meant. Because before I would just say I'm Christian. Oh yeah, I'm Christian because my family's Christian, whatever. But I wasn't too sure really what that meant, like what it meant to be Christian. Because when you're younger, I'll be dragged off to church. But because you're dragged off to church, it's not a thing of I want to go to church.
Exactly.
It's a thing of Sunday morning, man. I gotta get up. I gotta get up to church. So that's what I had. Like, and I remember when like there's a period you go through where your mom doesn't drag you up on a Sunday morning to go to church. And when I went through that period, I was like, ooh. Even though it sounds bad, I was like, what?
Like, no, you know,
gotta go.
Basically, Fajr is like the morning prayer, innit? It's like sunrise.
It's the first prayer of the day.
And it gets bad. Sometimes it's like 3 a.m. Yeah, and weekend we just knew our dad was gonna wake us up. Our dad was gonna wake us up. We had to be there, innit?
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, sometimes you don't look forward to it, man. You just don't want to do it. Like,
I don't know. I feel like it's important to even even a kid who's young. Like I've learned this through sports. Like when I started my football coaching thing, I remember my first session of football coaching. I was so excited, like, because this is like my first job, like doing something that I'm potentially going to do in the future.
Right.
And it was coaching kids, and I was shocked at the amount of kids that didn't want to be there. Like I assumed, my assumption, my expectations before going there was that every single kid here is gonna want to play football and they're gonna love it. And I got there, and some kids were just like they were not interested at all. They were on the side. They didn't want to be involved. You try to get them involved. They didn't want to be involved. And I learned through that, like, I understand parents want to put them through sports, which is good. It's very important. You put your kids through sports. But, like, you don't...
Project Mbappe.
That's what it was.
But you don't, like, have to put them in a specific thing because you think that's what's good for them.
Exactly.
My advice from the kids I've seen is just throw them in sports, a bunch of sports, and see what they like,
see what sticks
for them.
Exactly.
So that's what I learned. Even for a kid, it's very important that they need to choose things
100%.
for themselves. So I say that to say, when I was dragged to go to church every day, it didn't feel like something I was choosing to do myself. So it became a thing of, like, it came like a chore. Like, I have to do this every Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And some kids maybe like work. Some kids, like, they're raised in the church, and, you know, it's like their faith is like the best thing for them.
Right.
So some kids it works, but for me and a lot of people I know, because when you're a kid, a lot of people got dragged to church and they don't go anymore. So for me, it was that kind of thing. Was I felt like this wasn't something that I was able to go and choose for myself. It was something I was forced to do. So when I was in class now, and I'm at this age, and I'm like, I know I go to church, but I know I don't want to go to church.
Right.
So I was thinking, like, I always believed in God.
I do believe in God. Conflict.
But in terms of calling myself Christian, I was like, because I know Christians, they pray, you go to church, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, can I call myself a Christian? So that's something I was, even at like 9, 10, 11, I was thinking about, because it was one of the things that I do. So the kid must ask me now, are you Christian? And of course, the natural answer is, yeah, I'm Christian. Just to, you know, whatever. But this one time, I went to say, I just thought, because I'm not sure.
Let me be honest.
So let me be honest with myself. And I was like, I didn't say I'm not sure, but because that's not what you say to a kid, like, I'm not sure. But I said, basically, no, I'm not. And the kid was like, you're not a Christian.
Craziest thing you
oh
ever
my
heard.
gosh.
Oh my
And was saying it bad. And I was like, Usher's not a Christian. I felt like I'd like killed someone in the classroom or something. Like, I felt so like...
Wait, this was year 7?
No, this was like...
Training, innit? Did you say training?
No, it was primary school. So I think it must have been year 6. It was late primary school.
I was going to say, who asked you in year 7?
No. It was late. It was late. It was primary school, I remember. I don't remember where, but from what I remember, it was primary
Usher's
school.
not Christian.
But it was such a big thing, like, Usher's not Christian. It's like the thing when people ask you, where are you from? They don't expect you to say, you're not going to say England.
Never expect
you know they don't want you to say England.
Right.
Yeah.
But a couple of times, just for fun, you want to be like, I'm English.
Yeah.
I'm British.
And I'll be like, cool, but where are you from?
Where you from?
I'm like, you know, so
Yeah.
that was the kind of thing. So it was funny to, even now, like, faith is something you're always, a lot of people are battling and trying to find out what it is for them. But it's a path, it's a journey.
It's 100%.
It's a journey. And as I get older, it's only something that I'm realizing now, because things aren't coming so easy. A lot of my family is predominantly Christian and heavy in that, but I don't feel like the only thing that keeps me comfortable is I don't feel like when they were my age, they were 100% Christian and 100% in their faith. So that makes me feel comfortable that, cool, in time.
Right.
Like, I'm still young. In time, when I get older, maybe it'll be a bit clearer for me and I'll find out something.
Yeah.
Through a lockdown, because I know you used to play basketball.
Yeah.
You don't play basketball anymore.
No, man, it's the time. Just don't get time.
Through lockdown, I remember you used to play basketball. How did you even get into basketball? Because it's not something you see like better ages doing. It's basketball.
Yeah, it's not common. It's not. It's my brothers were into it, but
I swear.
Yeah, and once I started following it just like I've always been into football, and but basketball just became more interesting, man. This was like
I like it a little bit less now
since I was young in it, and I was following it since, and like even when we got to like Woolwich Poly. I was like the only person in it.
Were you playing from year 7?
Yeah.
Oh
No.
man,
I was like the only
I thought
guy,
you started
man.
like year 9
I
or
was the
something.
only year 7 there, yeah. And then
What?
obviously my brother was in year 11 when I was in year 7. So they were playing there, like a big bunch of them.
Yeah.
And I'll be there on the side, just playing by myself.
Cheerleading.
Yeah, like I'll be if I wasn't on the Astro, if I wasn't conforming and going on to the Astro, I'll be playing basketball in it. But then as we went on, like year 8, year 9, slowly people started to come.
Yeah, because
and now, more like it's crazy how many people follow basketball now. Like so many people.
It's gotten bigger. It's gotten mad bigger because year 7, I don't think anybody was.
I feel like football stagnated, man.
Football is not stagnated.
Football has stagnated. It has.
It will never.
I feel like it has.
Cannot stagnate.
Basketball is more interesting these days.
Stop it with that talk.
It is.
Stop it with that talk. I did tune into the playoffs this year, but
no, not this year. This year was like bubble and all that, and even football was dead this year, like with no crowd and all that. But like over the years, football was.
It's not. No.
But
that's your opinion.
It's not.
It's not a fact.
It's not. I found it, but
it's downward
with the football and post lockdown and Corona, and there's no big fans. I found it more interesting.
Really,
I found it better.
Man.
Because of my but this is what I'm saying. Because of my like football mind and my coaching mind, and
you want to see them communicate.
I want to hear the communication. I want to hear who's talking. I want to hear what the manager's saying to the players. It's like they brought in the crowd noises, and I was pissed off. I was like, nah, I don't want to hear no fake crowd noises. I want to hear the players swear at each other. I want to hear who's the one shouting the loudest.
On the NBA, they put virtual fans on the screen, and it's not like
I've seen that.
It's like like when it's bad quality FaceTime video, they put that. I'm just like, why would you do that? Like, would rather see like an empty court, empty stadium, and the players like communicating, talking, instead of players like with like bad quality and they're like all lagging and stuff.
Yeah, no,
it's like why?
It makes no sense.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
Makes no sense.
I don't like none of the crowd noises. Like, and it annoys me because when I watch football, you have to pick. Luckily you can pick if you want to listen to the one with crowd noises,
or one without,
or you can listen to one without. And I hate the one with crowd noises. Like, I rather much enjoy it being dead silence, and just hearing the people on the pitch. It's so much more fascinating to me to watch it that way than
100.
Than watching it with I don't want to listen to no fake crowd noise. And it's so late. Someone scores a goal, then 10 seconds later you hear the crowd noise. I'm like, bro,
does the button have a lag or something?
There was one time a goal hit the side, like it didn't go in the goal, hit the side of the goal.
My
and then the crowd noise. I was like, nah, that guy's getting fired. Like, what angles he got? But
let me ask you this, Asha, though. What do you prefer? Like no crowd and just like empty, or like real crowd?
Watching.
Yeah, and then when you're watching, like, what do you prefer? Because like like in football, I know they do it's like the singing and all the chanting, like they even boo sometimes, right? So like, what do you prefer?
If I'm just watching it, if I'm there, if I'm in the stadium, I'd rather crowd. Because that's just an atmosphere. It's a vibe. It's the energy. But if I'm watching, I'm not too fast because the crowd really only affects the players.
But it's the whole environment.
Yeah, but it's not the same when you're.
Yeah.
If I was in the stadium,
even when you're at home and you're watching.
The crowd is a massive effect because the crowd adds to the momentum. Like we were talking about it the other day, like when one team's got momentum, that crowd adds to that team's momentum.
And like say a player has a big play like a block or something and he gets hyped and then the crowd gets hyped.
But that's what I'm saying. If I was in the stadium, 100% crowd, or if I was playing 100% crowd. But with me just watching
as a spectator,
from like on the TV, I don't mind no crowd. I don't mind no crowd. I'm not angry about no crowd.
It feels a bit empty, man. When LeBron does something crazy and he flexes, and the commentator is going crazy, and then it's just silence. Like it just feels.
Wait. Because I was watching it, and sometimes like they'll flex. I think, who are they flexing at? Because no one's there. Like,
listen, they're flexing on the other team's bench. They're flexing on the other players. Like they got a flex in it. But like, when there's a crowd, it's real. Like they flex.
Because you remember you watch past games, and you remember there's a crowd. There used to be a crowd at one point, and you see the mad difference. But now the playoffs I did watch this year. What were you thinking?
To be honest, it shouldn't have been as easy as it was. For the Clippers, they disappointed, man. Like, in a way, it's like you're glad your team won. And like,
who do you support again? Lakers.
Yeah, I ain't a fan, but I've been there since we're down on the gutter.
Sounds like glory hunting.
But what I'm saying is like we had such an easy road because the Clippers. I feel like the Clippers were better matched. That's the thing with the playoffs, right? The Nuggets beat the Clippers, but the Clippers would have given the Lakers a better battle than the Nuggets did. So it's really who you match up against, and they just crumbled against the Nuggets. But I don't think they would have crumbled that same way against the Lakers. And it's interesting because now the Lakers got the ring, and they've won, but that road should have been harder.
Listen, I wanted to have someone here to have this conversation about because I'm not 100% a basketball guy.
Yeah.
I don't watch basketball, so
I want to have the conversation about LeBron and Jordan.
Oh man, it's Jordan.
That's what I'm saying. But that's going into like another 2 hours.
That's true. It's
going into another 2 hours.
What's the football equivalent of that? Would you say Messi Ronaldo?
Nah, it's not the
or
same.
Maybe
I don't know because Messi Ronaldo is much more of a debate.
Messi Maradona, maybe.
No,
it's Messi Ronaldo. Okay. But Messi Ronaldo is
it's different. Like Jordan and LeBron is so different.
I feel like it's much more of a debate of Messi Ronaldo.
There's more of a debate to be had for Messi and Ronaldo, but with LeBron and Jordan, and the fact that they're playing together at the same time. With Messi and Ronaldo. That's with Jordan and LeBron, there's a generation gap, and the game is actually different. The speed is different.
Yeah, that's a big factor.
So it's tough to compare. But when you go off like accomplishments and stuff like this, it's like it's got to be Jordan. I did a poll right on my story. I was disgraced. I was so disgraced.
LeBron.
It was 57% Michael Jordan.
You remember it? Nice.
But yeah, because people changed their vote. So
can you change your vote?
They DM me like, I meant to write LeBron in it. And then when I did the calculation, it was 52% Jordan. I was like,
you were angry.
I was disappointed.
Even though Jordan won.
I was devastated. I was like, this should have been at least 60%. But I was disappointed.
Nah, it's a debate to be had.
Who would you take, Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi. When I was younger, I
probably
always
LeBron guy.
When I was younger, I'd probably Jordan. When I was younger, I always changed. It was always one of the two. But I don't know, as I got older, Messi's just like when he's playing, like you want to be watching.
You know what's for me? It's Ronaldo's persona.
And
it's the whole package.
He's assertive. He's dominant.
It's a brand, isn't it? Ronaldo is a brand.
What I always see that separates him. You know, like say it's Champions League second leg and like they're meant to maintain the lead or whatever. And like Barcelona let a goal in, you see Messi's head down.
It's not even that his head's down, as in he's just
short. He's naturally down. He's not the assertive leader.
He's not someone to start screaming and they're polar opposites. Like if Ronaldo thinks his defense is being bad, they're gonna hear it. You know what I'm saying? But Messi, he'll just do that.
Messi won't do nothing.
He won't, but he'll get the ball there, give me the ball, and we'll go do something mad.
LeBron's assertiveness. Ronaldo's assertiveness to me is just way more like fun to watch.
Listen, the debate will go on forever. Like, it will. But I appreciate you guys coming on.
Appreciate you for having us, man.
I wanted you on for time because like I just love what you guys are doing, and we got some stuff coming as well.
Yeah.
After that'll be out soon. So I appreciate you guys coming. Let people know where to find you, like on Instagram or whatever on the socials.
Yeah, so it's m.bojang813.
We'll have it on the screen.
On Instagram. Edit it in, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, you go.
And I'm Shooter Yusuf, so that'll be on the screen. That's my photography account. You'll find my main one linked on there. So
PT and all of that.
PT, photographer. Hit me up if you want to shoot.
I appreciate you guys, man. Everyone listening, thanks so much. This is episode 3. Make sure you follow, make sure you support the Instagram, the Twitter. We appreciate it a lot. And look out for the next one. We're coming back. Sorry for the break. Cheers. Stay sweet.
Peace.
Stay safe. Stay street.
Stay blessed, guys.
Cut.
Finished.